A video game, flash, fiction. This is a 90-minute writing game when and where I get inspired by a video game and life, create a flash fiction story. I'm going to put this timer right here. We're going to have it going. I'm going to roll these two dice so I can select one of these cartridges randomly, slot it in the console, play the game, create a story, read the story, and move on and experience life. Let's go ahead and start. I have 6 columns right here, 6-sided dice, 1 to 6. It's a 3, third column. Bottom to top, there are 10 rows. I'll roll this 10-sided dice, 10. The one my finger is pressing is the game for today. It's called G.I. Joe Cobra Strike. Let's see. Cover work for the cartridge. Intellectual property free. Let's go ahead and slot this in. Let's see if it works. And it does. We got some action going on here. We got, yeah. Let's check this game out. Let's move it over here. I got a little issue with the focus today, it looks like, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. The graphics themselves seem to be playing a little bit of havoc with the camera. Focused on the screen, maybe it'll find it. It may have reasoned itself. What the hell is going on here? Okay, well, it's called Cobra Strike. Am I going to be the enemy? Am I going to be the antagonist? Oh my god, there's like a big snake and people running down below and guns. Let's play this game. Let's get the joystick. Hopefully I got the one that works. I don't even know what the heck's going on. I know my Joes. If I like this must be I'm just there's no way. Let's try a different joystick. I'm not getting any reaction from that one. I know one of these is probably broke. All right, just like any good soldier battling Cobra, I gotta improvise. Let's see, is that the problem? I have no. I'm gonna blame it on the tools today. It doesn't say joystick or anything like that. Like right now, like I'm firing a gun, and this big snake head. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, I can't do anything. I get the concept probably of the game itself. I'm supposed to control both of these turrets. Would they be a turret? They'd be more of a mounted gun on top of a building with people running between them. And maybe I'm out of bullets. Maybe I'm doing the wrong. All right, so let's try on the fly. Let's go for using the paddles. Maybe this feels like maybe a paddle game. This joystick's not working for me, and I don't have instructions for this thing. God. This is a lesson 101 on what it's like to play the Atari 2600 and you don't know what controller you're supposed to use. Plus there's a paddle with a single paddle that you could use. And I got a big cobra snake killing people. And I got to stop it. Like, this is just weird. Let's see if this helps. No. What about this one? No. Wait. There we go. All right. Hey, here we go. I had a movement. I don't get this. It's like a delayed. There we go. Oh, something's going on here. I like, this is how I protect the Joes. This is GI, like, frack, man. Come on. What kind of story is this? Seriously. How can I fictionalize a big snake on the horizon spitting down poison balls upon green people that's running across, and I'm supposed to protect it with this? I can't even do a thing. Like, I'm able to move this thing now, but even this controller, which I thought was working, is... There's got to be a better way. This is just not... How do I get the guns to aim at the snake? And like, what is... Alright. I don't apparently need to play this game for something to not happen. I mean, this Cobra thing's not able to kill these green people that are running down below. Oh, it just did. Okay, well. All right, let's create a story based upon this. I don't know where. I got no points. Yeah, that was weird. Wish I could go through all the different types of controllers today. That was already something new. What's this one called again? G.I. Joe Cobra Strike. Well, you know, there's definitely a Cobra in there. And I guess there's some generally enlisted Joes. Fortunately, that can't be trademarked because that's just a G.I. Joe. Is not something they really invented. But altogether it is. And I don't know what the hell. Like, there's a big snake. And it's attacking an army base that looks like an army base even here because it's green, and maybe you have soldiers running between barracks and then two guns trying to protect it off in the distance. And Cobra is one. Cobra, I kind of, I dig the little blurry kind of warping neck to make it look like it's slithering. It's a little creepy once you look at it. It's almost as if there's a vertical hold issue with the television, which you don't experience anymore. Wow, makes me feel, oh, and then it fades out. Why does it decide to fade out, camera? Adds a certain level of creepy to it. Maybe it needs a noise. All right, let's go ahead and open up a file. G.I. Joe hyphen Cobra Strike. Here we go, G.I. Joe, Cobra Strike. There's a big snake. I mean, there's an alien. If I were to play this game and not know what the show toy G.I. Joe was, it would seem to me like an alien snake came down to the world and was taking over. That's kind of boring. It's yet another dystopian. I mean, all these games are about dystopia. Let's try to make it into utopia today. Let's challenge ourselves. I got an hour and 21 minutes. That's going to be a hard one. I got to separate. So much want to write a story about Cobra Commander and Destro. Not today. Those characters don't exist in this world. And it's a big snake. Like, and really, if you're that big of an animal and you're from outer space, would you be able to deal with Earth's gravity? Like, that'd be hard on your body. Especially being able to, like, suspend yourself that long over the horizon, this huge snake. But that's what I got here. I'm just getting memorized by the tail waving back and forth. Poor Joe's. Is there more levels? Maybe you got 2 snakes, maybe 3 snakes, maybe 4 snakes. Oh, whoa, we got a different snake. We got a green snake there. What's so special about you, huh? It's like when I hit the button, this has to go side to side. But I'm not like, I'm just shooting up. That's what's just it's. And why isn't, what's going on here? I guess I get more points for every person that goes into the barracks from one side to the other, it looks like. So I got a bunch of green people. And a big snake. Big snakes. Big snakes. Big snakes. The big snake is back, maybe? Maybe it could be like some old horror 80s where the nuclear bomb turns snakes into giant creatures that haunt the world. Aliens. What'd be a peaceful reason for a big snake to come down? They need a new home. They're really the gods of snakes. They created snakes. Yeah, story ideas. This is going to be a tough one. Especially trying not to... Yeah, especially avoiding dystopia. Let's try to get away from dystopia, but let's just start writing first of all, because it's been 12 minutes and I'm clueless. There's an open field with 2 barracks, 2 houses with guns on top. Maybe this is like a militia. Maybe this is really just a militia that's getting invaded by big snakes. Now that makes no sense. You'd have to have a lot of money to be able to construct one of these things. They were running from one building to the other and not the other way around. So there's obviously a purpose that you need to exit the one building and go to the next one. Else you wouldn't, because why would you put yourself in harm's way if the only way you can get harmed is by going between buildings? Man, I'm racking up the points. Like, I don't even know if I got proper controllers in. I wonder if I can put the single controller in and do better. Like, I don't even know. See, it sort of works. Like, this handle has seen better days. I can move it back and forth. I gotta think of a story. I'm just procrastinating. I don't think it's been this while since I've had to wait this long for something to come into my mind to write something about a big cobra in the distance. It's got to be an invading alien. But, you know, maybe it's just misunderstood. Maybe it's just freaking people out. Yeah. And, like, that's why they're running. I don't know why they're running from building to building, but it's got to be part of the story, and I need to figure that out. I think the snake, let's just say, landed on Earth. It crashed. Make it a fun alien. Not fun, necessarily. I mean, not everyone's life is fun. And big snake aliens from outer space who crashes on Earth, I'm sure they're a little pissed off. I feel as if, though, I've used that trope way too many times already. The alien that crashes on Earth. And I don't have really time nor the mind to make an entire world of snake people, and this is just how they are. Maybe it is a little maybe they're all trapped inside by the same giant. And this is really giant snake and people. And this is how the giant feeds the snake. This isn't part of the aquarium. Man, I just... Story. Come on, story. I don't want to go to big snake, but if I don't have anything else within a couple minutes, I'm going to go with big snake from outer space, who's friendly and looking for help. And I'm going to model off this snake right here, who only just like sits off in the distance as people run from one building to another. And it's the snake is trying just to communicate. And that's the problem with any alien that ever approaches Earth is communication. And having to fight with pop culture and our understanding of what life beyond this planet is. Maybe we can sort of make it about that. This is going to be a big happy snake. And maybe they don't crash land. Maybe they're pissed off a little bit. And they just got people scared. I can't explain the guns. And why would they just be at an army base? Like, wouldn't you like go approach some places that are a little bit more peaceful if you have some sort of ability to understand or reason what a gun is? And apparently this alien does, because they've landed on the planet. They got massive muscles to be able to fight the gravity to hold that big, massive head up. It's a big, giant snake. It's a colossal snake. It's a giant snake. If I did not know what G.I. Joe is generally enlisted. General Enlisted? General Enlisted? General Enlisted. Generally? I don't know. I think the G is some sort of form of general, and then I is enlisted. You can trademark that saying for some things, but that's a common term. And using that name, it's obviously going to be an army. And Cobra Strike. Maybe the Cobra's named Strike. I don't know. I won't do any like Yo Joe. That'd be too close to using a likely trademarked term. It's a giant snake. Okay, so that's got something. Sal shouts, infantry soldier. It'd be like petty officer. I don't know the rankings. Sergeant. Corporal. Lieutenant. Grunt. Avoid the name Sergeant Slaughter. That's just what come to mind right there. A little mix of G.I. Joe and old pro wrestling. All right, let's get my mind a little bit more engaged into this so I can think of a story within the next hour and 12 minutes and write the entire thing out, then read it aloud. The challenges of gaming this. It's a giant snake, Sergeant Jones. Let's just go Jones. Running from the army barracks. I think it's barracks. Let's just go with that. I don't think I need to case it. So I put U.S. Army. I'll just say Army barracks. This could be any army barrack in the world. Lights. Okay. It'll be a reversal. It ain't gonna be a mad snake. It's gonna be a friendly one. And yeah, I think it just kind of watches everyone run around. I think I don't know, man. Oh boy. It's a little bit easier with dystopia when you can just say, hey, there's this big evil protagonist trying to kill us for this reason. Let's stop it. And then you resolve the story with killing it. But that's boring. This can be a friendly snake. Misunderstood. But nevertheless friendly. Can I fire upon it though? See, this one doesn't even fire. It's just hanging out, man. And look at my points. Like, they're spectacular. I guess it would be cool if you could control the snake somehow. But I'm just loud. Look at that. All right, so let's do this. So it's a giant snake, shouts Jones, running from the army barracks. It's attacking the base. Man, the turrets. Generally, is it generally enlisted or general enlisted? General enlistment? General enlistment? What does G.I. Joe stand for? I need to find out. General Enlisted, I believe it was. I believe it is still. G.I. Joe meaning. It's military slang. Is just a normally enlisted soldier. It's whoa! I had no idea that that's what it meant. I thought it was generally enlisted. GI generally stood for galvanized iron, the primitive material items and buckets. However, the government issue or ground infantry. I thought, man, whoa. GI took on multiple meanings, so it could be right, but there's so many different. It could be galvanized iron, ground infantry, government issue. Okay. General enlistment. Okay. There's many different definitions for GI. Galvanized iron. I like that. Government issue. Ground infantry. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Galvanized iron. Ground infantry. Infantry. Infinity tree. Hospital infantry. Let's look that up real quick. I just saw it. Infantry. The A. That's how I enunciate it. Ground infantry, Joes. Okay, I have no reasonable clue of where to really go with this story. So let's just write something that's a snake. Maybe I should write it from the perspective of the snake. I feel like I can't do vacation because I've had the vacation alien and some story I've been editing for another book called Work. That doesn't mean other aliens can't vacation on Earth. There can't be other stories, but I've kind of done it. So this big snake is not here to take over. Trying to hide. Maybe it's always been on Earth. Maybe it's deep below the Earth. Maybe it's finally just coming up. Maybe it's awoke by the bombing in the area and it's pissed off because it's tired. Not that it hates the humans, but they're just loud. And it's the mother of all snakes, or the father of all snakes, or the asexual snake that just produces a bunch of snakes in the desert and it's finally come up. I think that's where I'm going to go with it. The conflict exists because it's tired. And if I started with that, let's try that. Let's just go. The afternoon flights. The afternoon bombing practice. I mean, that's the Army. It's not the Air Force. Let's go range. Let's go range weapons. So you're not bombing your artillery. The morning artillery. Artillery, infantry, artillery. Well, I won't let a few sneezes get in the way of writing, if only for a moment. Artillery. Man, I'm just wrong letters. The afternoon artillery range practice shook the desert ground and vibrated through the cavern of, I'm going to give it a name. Like, I mean, this is a big snake. This huge snake has been dormant, maybe. It just births other smaller snakes, and that's all it does. Because that's just the story. maybe it did come from nuclear waste. I just get pissed off, just wants to sleep. Maybe we'll do that. So the afternoon artillery range practice shook the ground and vibrated through the caverns, housing the waste, the nuclear waste, nuclear waste, and hazardous chemicals. Hazardous. Man, I can't spell it. I can't even, like, my E's and my A's in my mind right now are just becoming one. Hazard. Housing the nuclear waste and hazardous chemicals. Hazardous. Hazardous. Holy cow. I wasn't even close to how I wanted to spell that word with what I was thinking in my mind. Fantastic. Do this for how many years and I still can't spell hazardous. Writing. Okay, so the hazardous chemicals shook ground and vibrated through the caverns, housing the nuclear waste and hazardous chemicals. And is there going to be a name? It's going to be a name that I guess would come from maybe a side of one of these chemical barrels, reminiscent of that. God, that movie. What was it called? Chud. Those lovely 80s movies where nuclear waste made a bunch of stuff. It made Chud's Toxic Avenger. Didn't nuclear bombs somehow create a lot of the Godzilla things? I don't know. For here, though, it created this big snake. Hazardous chemicals and GI galvanized. And the giant mutant snake. I haven't wrote about a giant mutant snake. Galvanized. Ground infantry. All right, I need to get excited. I have some story. It's ridiculous. So what's they get woke up. Galvanized, long summer. Because what is it? If it's hot, they need to cool down. But they're faster. If it's cold, reptiles are slower. Galvanized's long slumber shakes awake deep in the caverns and large tunnels, twisting their way just below the desert surface. thousands of smaller snakes. Galvanized. I just spelled galvanized wrong too. That's fantastic. Can I spell another word wrong? Probably. It's early. All right, so galvanized long slumber snake wakes deep in the caverns and large tunnels, twisting their way through the desert surfaces. Galvanized, I gotta describe galvanized now in this game. Like, why are they so huge and how huge are they? What's the comparison? Something tubular, like buses. Bus big body, galvanized bust size body. Bus hyphen sized body. Slithers. It's a mutant. It's hungry too. I don't think it's gonna eat people. This is lame, but whatever. Let's move forward. Galvanized long slumber snakes. Deep in the caverns. Let's put it deep in the caverns and large tunnels twisting their way below the desert. Below the army base. The desert army base. That way we can at least define what's around. Galvanized bus-sized body slithers through it's hundreds, it's thousands of offspring of small, normal, I don't know, that's just lame. Just not, yeah. I can't even, a huge snake. Like if I was in the world of actual G.I. Joe, I mean, it's obviously Cobra, and they had an unlimited amount of funds all the time. In this case, they don't, because they don't exist in this world. In this world, it's just a giant snake attacking some ground infantry soldiers on an army base because they're shooting artillery and waking it up, and it wants to sleep. I don't even know what that has to say about society or me, but I ain't got much more right now. Feels lame. Feels boring. Giant snakes, though, are not boring. So let's just continue on. Giant snakes would be quite exciting if one saw one. Thruzen? Like, how do I even spell that word? Like, come on. Thousands. There we go. It's thousands of small offspring slither in holes deep underground, trying to sleep. With a tired mind and a cranky mood. Galvanized. Slams at slinky form. I could just use a lot of alliteration. Against the ceiling, bursting through the ground of the range. All right, so now we can throw in I guess in this case, they would be the antagonists. The army people in here are actually the evil ones because they're waking up the snake. They're not evil. They're just... maybe they don't know. They don't know. That's my story. Maybe this is going to be a story of peace. Maybe somehow the snake becomes friends with the army. I already got way too many plot holes. I got way too much nothing. We may as well make this a jamboree of fun. No, let's see where it goes. So it's a giant snake, shouts Sergeant Jones, running from the army barracks. It's attacking the base. Ground infantry. Oh, we could just name him Joe. Sergeant Joe. I'm going to do that. We'll just get some connection to it. The ground infantry. Man, I just can't spell infantry this morning. I can't spell anything. It's I just got a bunch of doubt now every time I type a letter in. Is it I got the right vowel? Vowels in my mind right now are not being pronounced in the way that actually spells these words in the correct form. The ground infantry. Straps on their clothes. As the artillery fires upon Galvanized. That is the snake. Galvanized. Galvanized. Slithers, rises, it's massive. I mean, I got like the body is the size of buses, so at least have some sort of way to get that informed. But the Cobra head itself, I like the size of an airplane. I don't know. It's using like vehicles to find this big, massive animal, this nuclear mutant. Galvanized rises its massive head. Bigger than its body, bigger than its bus-sized body. It's just its massive Cobra head. Yes, I can throw that in there, and then people will be able to see what a Cobra is. And I'll probably want to put that back here. Let's just make that snake a Cobra. Cobra. In case you don't know the Cobra is a snake, we'll just throw that down. Okay, there you go. What's that part? It's like I don't know, what's the part of that Cobra head? Cobra head. It's like parts of a Cobra head. There's got to be a specific thing. Parts of a Cobra head. It's worth it. It'll be worth it. And I learned something today. Let's see. I got a picture of a Cobra right now. Do you tell what the... Man, I don't want the insides. I want like the... Is there a name for the thing that flares out? Or just a head? It's such an impressive piece of the part of the body. And it's so iconic that I think that it'd be like a name given to it. All I see right here is no. Let's move on. Everyone knows what a Cobra head looks like. Well, not everyone. Most people do. Even maybe 50% of society. I'll decrease it to another 20% because not everyone may know what a Cobra head looks like. I'm being a little bit, assumptuous. And I'm saying words that don't even make words now. So Galvanized raises massive Cobra head. And let's just leave it at that. Over the horizon. Over the hill. Shouts. The soldiers scatter. Run from building to building. Trying to find Sergeant Joe. Runs toward an abandoned what kind of gun is that? Like, why would I even know? There's like the big army guns. What do they call it? Like artillery, big army artillery. Let's look at this search and return. What's the name of this one? What's yes, artillery. That's what I want, but I need a one gun. I need a name, a howitzer. Is it a howitzer? A light-towed howitzer. Okay, there you go, an abandoned howitzer. Those look a little bit like howitzers, maybe. There we go. Witzer. Not a word I thought I'd be writing today. It's abandoned howitzer. Shouting. Shoot it. Shoot it. Shot it. Shot it. How about we do the present action and not the past tense, as if I've done it already. Shoot it. Shoot it. Rifle fire. Single shot. Bolt action. I don't think they use the M16 anymore. I think that's probably been retired. Not that I really follow up on most guns, but that was definitely an iconic gun back in the day as far as Army is concerned. Very pop culture. More popular at the time than the AR-15, which is not necessarily just a type of gun. Yeah. Let's do that. M16s. Go back in the day. They're doing Army surplus. M16s and single bolt. Single shot. Bolt action, right? Bolt action. And bolt action rifles. Pop off shots. Bolt action rifles. Pop shots at the massive head of Galvanized. And I'm going to make the thing that comes out of the snake's mouth, at least in the first scene. Man, I'm just racking the points up. Who knew? I could just go on and select game system and have a bunch of people run back and forth without the snake even attacking. I wonder if I can actually control the snake. That's what I'm thinking. I'm almost wanting to put some sort of joystick in the other slot to see. I feel like I have a story going. I got 46 minutes left. I'm going to try that out real quick. I can't remember which one of these supposedly did or didn't work, even though it probably won't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Man. Future of gaming is here. Bunch of wires. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is cool. Okay, this game became really fun. Now I can actually, that's right, let's go. All right, now I can be galvanized. Is that true? It is true. Holy cow. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. I can be the snake, too. Now, what's that coming out of the mouth? Whoa, man, I'm doing it. Maybe it's like, maybe they got allergies. Just, taking from real life. Come on, come on. You gotta really time these things. It's like just like a bit of poison coming out of that fang or something. Like, let's look at that. Just, come on. I am not good at this. My timing's way off. I think oh, wait, no, it's not. I won. Wow. That is a great game mechanic. I can be the snake. My appreciation of this game just increased 100-fold. What the hell does that term even mean, 100-fold? I mean, I get it, but I need to stop using it. It sounds foolish. Yes. Okay, so I won. But what's coming out? I just need to think of like, what's coming out of the mouth? Like I don't see that at all at this point. It's like a piece of poison, something. Let's do a game reset. That's fun. Bolt action rifles pop shots at the massive head of Galvanized. Maybe it's unfortunately like they just think it's bad. And they start firing at it. And the fire itself is actually triggering poison to drip from its mouth and onto the soldiers and spray onto the soldiers. Okay, let's do that. Bullets. Pock? I don't want to say pock. Bullets. Ping and poke. Bullets, ping and poke, galvanized. What does that even mean? Like, so what's the reaction? I get pinged and I get poked. Bullets, ping and poke, galvanized, scald, body, tickling, body and head, tickling its nose and mouth. Galvanized rises higher and slithers and sways body, boarding. As bits of poison pool. Galvanized. Hi, galvanized. I have no idea. I'm lost on this. I gotta do the dropping of the poison. I mean, the sprays, I guess. Like, I gotta make sure that the protagonist is hey, yeah, so let's try it. So galvanized, bullets, ping and poke, galvanized, scaled body and head, tickling its mouth, its nose, tickling its nose and mouth. Vibrating. shaking loose. Poison drops. Galvanized rises and towers. It's just a weird vision. Towers over the army base and the soldiers who run like rodents between green buildings. Galvanized sways its body away from bullets as bits of poison pull at the fang. An artillery shell blasts. Can I spell that right? I don't think so. That would be a great thing if I had, but I even spelled it wrong. Tillary, Lari, or Lurie. Excuse me. Yeah, well, let's go. An artillery shell slams its face. Slams its head. Drops of poison spray over the soldiers. All right, let's get some Cobra action here. Maybe not. Artillery shells slam its head. If head, it's head. Drops of poison spray over the soldiers. Poison stings the skin, seeps into pores, and pumps into the hearts and minds. Soldiers, poison soldiers, drop to their knees. And clench their chests. As others grab their shaking bodies and drag them where are they dragging them? Someplace. All right. There is some sort of conflict, obviously, in snake language. And feeling less tired and cranky. But more pissed off, more angry, and full of rage. The words shout like slithering, like all the what's words shout like slithering mumbles. Slithering mumbles that hiss danger and frighten the soldiers to firing more shots. At Galvanized. I mean, I guess this turned into dystopia. How is this going to end? I mean, it's going to have to end sometime, and it's going to be sometime soon because our time here is just about up. Well, I mean, there's the 33 minutes left, but this story has gone off the rails a little bit. Like, what's the, just anything? What's the point? What's the meaning of life? The meaning of this story is don't put your nuclear waste around snakes and they're going to grow up to be a bigger snake, and then don't put your artillery range over that because you might wake up the mutated snake and you won't be able to understand it, and it comes back to kill you one day. It's going to be your own fault. Isn't that sort of the message a lot of these mutant war machines come back to tell the story of man's own destructive nature? Yes, that's exciting. It's depressing. The words shout like slithering mumbles that hiss danger and frighten the soldiers into firing more shots at Galvanized. Stop! Galvanized. What is it? I mean, I never was able to actually successfully hurt Galvanized. But I was able to take out some soldiers. How does this end? Like, maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's just it. Maybe like any good, well, referencing the material what this came from, any good serialized adventure show never truly ends. And war sometimes ends. I think in this instance, I like the idea of leaving it open. Like the to be continued. Or that's not resolved. Like there's still overarching the initial conflict. Maybe Galvanized is just like, F this place. Let's go. Galvanized is the bigger snake. I think just leaves. Realizing that, hey, you know, maybe once they see that they galvanize the rumble of tanks, the squeak and rumble. Is it squawk? Squeak and rumble. Squeak and rumble of tanks. This is what scares Galvanized away. I think Galvanized is just going to slither off into the sunset. they even see the tanks. It's not a game mechanic, so I can't include tanks. Galvanized looks at the dead soldiers. Galvanized looks at the shaking, at the poisoned soldiers. Galvanized Galvanized lowers its massive body. Body and slithers away. Over the desert. With its slithering and hissing, it convinces other snakes to slither with it. From the desert to a new land, a quiet land. Where it need not strike and kill, to sleep in peace. I don't know. I mean, I'm tired of writing about death. I've got plenty of those stories. It's just, yeah. Well, I don't know. Let's I bastardized the word galvanized, maybe. I don't know. Maybe out of this, let's make sure I got galvanized spelled right, because I've spelled it wrong so many times, potentially. Galvanized. Yay, galvanized. Okay. Made of galvanized iron or steel. And they're galvanized because that's just the name on the side of the... I should point that out. Story. Is this an actual story? Yeah. Not really. I mean, it's a scene. And I guess the moral is at the end a little bit. Just want to sleep in peace. Willing to kill for it. Okay. I think maybe. Let's rationalize this. Let's break it down a little bit. Probably don't do this enough. I just think there's a lot of holes in the story that make it terrible. Not even a story. What's our story structure here? And then I can move on with life and maybe read this aloud and feel like I didn't totally fail today. We have a who, what, why, when, where, how. It's galvanized steak is the kind of the antagonist, the protagonist here a little bit. There's really no, they're both can be protagonists or antagonists. They're both put in a situation they got to try to rationally get out of. There's a giant mutant snake underground caused by nuclear waste and chemicals. It's called Galvanized. A mutant snake, Galvanized, self-named. from label. Can I just type out the word label, right? There we go. From the label on the sides of radioactive barrels. Galvanized long snakes, long slumber shakes awake deep in the caverns and large tunnels, twisting their way just below the desert of the army base. So we have the who, what, why, when, where. They're awake. They want to sleep. They're misunderstood. There's a bunch of firing, and the galvanized is like, let's just leave. Can't sleep. I don't want to kill things. I can be the bigger, smarter snake and just get out of here. That's it. That's the story. I think I'm going to stick with it. What is it? What's the name of this one again? G.I. Joe, Cobra Strike. And it looks like, yeah, I mean, with the full name there, it's definitely a trademark. Looks really pretty. Let's get some water and read this thing aloud. Oh. Okay. Hasn't been the most exciting time in the world, but it's been a time. And something was written. Hopefully not dystopia, but if it is, well, everyone writes dystopia these days, unfortunately. I try sometimes to break out of that habit because it's so comfortable there. But let's get uncomfortable and let's read about snakes. That's uncomfortable. And in this story called G.I. Joe, Cobra Strike. So for today's video game flash fiction story, G.I. Joe, Cobra Strike. G.I. Joe, Cobra Strike. The artillery, let's get this right. Let's get the G.I. Joe, Cobra Strike read. The afternoon artillery range practice shook the desert ground and vibrated through the caverns housing the nuclear waste and hazardous chemicals in the giant mutant cobra snake, Galvanized, self-named from a label on the sides of radioactive barrels. Galvanized long slumber shakes wake deep in the caverns and large tunnels twisting their way just below the desert army base. Galvanized bus-sized body slithers tunnels searching for silence and calm. Its thousands of small offspring slither in holes deep underground to try to sleep. With a tired mind and a cranky mood, Galvanized slams its slinky form against the ceiling, bursting through the ground on the firing range. It's a giant snake, shouts Sergeant Joe, running from the army barracks. It's attacking the base. The ground infantry straps on their clothes, and grabs rifles as artillery fires at the Galvanized. Galvanized rises its massive cobra head over the hill. The soldiers run from the building to building as Sergeant Joe runs toward it and abandoning the howitzer, shouting, "Shoot it, shoot it!" M16 and bolt-action rifles pop shots at the massive head of Galvanized. Bullets ping and poke Galvanized, scaled body and head, tickling its nose and mouth, shaking loose poison drops. Galvanized rises and towers over the army base and the soldiers, who like rodents run between green buildings. Galvanized sways its body away from the bullets and bits of poisons fall from the fangs. An artillery shell slams the giant snake's head. Drops of poison spray over the soldiers. Poison stings the skin, seeps into pores, and pumps into the hearts and minds. Poisoned soldiers drop to their knees and clench their chest as others grab at their shaking bodies and drag them over the desert and into ground barracks. In snake language, and feeling less tired and cranky but more angry and full of rage, shouts Galvanized, "I just need sleep." The words shout like slithering mumbles that hiss danger and frighten the soldiers into firing more shots at Galvanized. Galvanized looks at the poisoned soldiers, foaming and shaking. Galvanized looks at the hundreds of soldiers aiming guns at it. Galvanized lowers its bodies and slithers away over the desert into the caverns below the earth. With its slithering and hissing, it convinces the other snakes to slither with it from the desert to a new land, a quiet land, where it need not strike and kill to sleep in peace. Well, that was a story. It still is a story. And as with every story, they come to an end. And let's commit this first before I turn it off. And let's remember this time of G.I. Joe Cobra Strike. And with that, we'll turn this off. And we'll commence on to other things. That was video game flash fiction for today. Another game, another story. And now time to go live life so they can influence more stories.